All right. How's all the programming going?
It's going. It's going to be a little bit different this time
Okay.
because um yeah, so it's not going to be from those that we'll be working on because it's a C programming class, but
Okay.
it's a different type of subject.
Okay. Yeah, whatever it is, I'll do my best to help you out, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just going to put or send it to the chat, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, whatever works.
Okay.
Okay, I got it.
There we go.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Let me just download that. Um,
It's going to require file. I'm going to send
okay.
that through.
Sounds good. I'll just get these kind of put into my folder. Okay, got those downloaded, the images that is. Um,
And this is the file that's mentioned.
okay.
What? Did it not send?
Uh, sometimes it's a bit weird about which file formats it'll take via
Mm,
the chat, so you might have to send it through the messages or something like that.
yeah, then I'll just send it to the
Okay,
messages.
I'll take a look at the instructions in the meantime.
Sure. I'm gonna send the images again through the messaging.
Okay, yep, I just saw it. Okay, I'll put that in my folder too here.
And I just said the message, the two pictures again.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, so let's see. It looks like we're reading a file with a specific format. Um, I'll
Hmm.
just open that file up and look at it here. Okay. So let's see if. Okay, so if the first byte is hex 55, then it's an unsigned integer. If the first byte has value hex 98, then it's a 4-letter text not alternated. Okay. Um, hmm, okay. So let's see. Okay. Um, so wait a minute. So Okay, I'm just trying to make sense of these things. Um, hmm, okay, 52777A. Wait a minute. Oh, 4 bytes. Yeah. Right. 52777A. Okay. Yeah. I'm just looking at the actual. I don't know if you have um, a good like hex editor application. I don't know what a good one is for Windows.
A what kind of
Oh,
application?
like a hex editor, or like let's see. I mean, there's probably some free ones out there. I can show you what I mean. Here, let me just share my screen. Oh,
Sure.
actually, let me see. Because I know that there was a guy I was just working with. He was using a file uh, editor like this, and I forget what it was called. Can you see my screen? Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
I think it was Ultra Edit actually. I'm pretty sure it was Ultra Edit, and I think is it okay? It's not free. I don't know what it actually costs, if
Do I
anything.
need those?
Well, not really, but here I'll show you why it's sometimes useful. So the one I use for the Mac is called
Whoa.
Hexstein, but I think it's only yeah, I think it's only available on the Mac. But like it's a little it's sometimes useful because it shows you what the file is in like a good one will show you what the file is in sort of binary or hexadecimal, in this case hexadecimal, and also
Hmm.
in like normal text. Now it doesn't look like the normal text looks like much. Um, I mean, maybe sometimes when you read in another, let's see, like if you read in another file, let me find one. Well, okay, if I just put like one of the PNG files you just sent in here, probably there's not going to be much in here that looks like human readable text because it's a picture file. But oh yeah, you can see like it ends with like a like kind of a special end code, and it begins with a special begin code that says is human readable. It starts with a .png header and I header and IDAT. So, sometimes there's a little bit of human readable stuff in there. But anyway, this is what I was looking at when I was saying, okay, let me see how this file format works. And you see they say, okay, if the first byte of the field has a value of 98, then the following 4 bytes represent a 4-letter text. So that's what they're doing here, 52777869. So those 4 bytes represent, this text string. And you've got another 98, which is 77544776, representing that text string. And here's a 55. So this represents, um, yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense as text, but if we interpreted that as an unsigned int, that would be, looks like 61,000. Is that right? Mm. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thanks. I actually can't remember if, let's see. Uh, I can't remember. Well, I don't know. It doesn't really matter that much, but have we talked about Indianness? I can't remember.
About what?
About Indianness?
I don't recall.
Okay. Yeah, it's basically like when you have a multi-byte value, it's the question of like whether the like byte order is from like largest to smallest or smallest to largest, essentially. Sort of like whether a language is written like left to right or right to left. So I think yeah, Intel is Little Indian. Um, yeah, okay, and then I don't know about ARM, which is okay. It looks like ARM can go both ways. All right, doesn't really matter. Okay, so anyway, so this file format makes sense. It does look like what they are doing. Makes sense. Okay. So that would be A, B, C, D. Okay. So we got to write a program that reads the file and stores these fields. A simple linked list. Okay. Design the correct and optimal data structure. Okay, the input file should begin as the first argument. Second argument should contain the path. Text output file. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. I'm a little bit more complicated than. Okay. And this is a second problem.
I
This.
don't know if it's a second problem or if it goes with the first one, but I think it's a second problem.
Yeah. Write a program which generates an array with function pointers. Yeah, this doesn't look like it has much to do.
Okay.
With those two. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think we can get started on this one. It's a little bit of a long one, but I think we can. I don't know if we'll get all the way done with it. Is this due anytime super soon, or is it?
It's Thursday.
Okay, that gives us a little bit of time in case we need to work on it longer. Okay, because I've got about the next hour or so, but I do have another person at 9 o'clock Pacific. So, all right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can jump in if you want to.
Okay.
I can walk you through it a little bit whenever you're ready.
I just want to send all of them through the messaging board, and then.
Oh sure. Oh, is there? Oh, there's more stuff coming. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, and the fourth one is like a huge problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's see
So
here.
delete these. And delete. Okay.
Okay. Just take a look at these quickly. Just get these all downloaded.
Okay. Share screen.
That was 4. Yeah, 4 new images. Okay. Okay.
The last 3 images are for the same problem.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Let me just kind of open this all up together. Let me take we can start with the first one, but let me take a quick glance through the others just so I know kind of what we're in for.
We can start with the second one if it's easier.
Yeah, I don't think either one is particularly easier than the other. Yeah, I'm okay to just go straight through unless you have a strong preference.
No.
Okay, yeah, because I'd say maybe I'll turn out to be wrong, but I'd say like 1A is probably going to be a little bit more code, but 1B is a little bit more conceptually tricky, so probably about equal.
Okay.
And then let's see, let me just take a look and see if 3 looks, how bad 3 looks, or 2 and 3, I guess. Let's see. Okay, it looks like a lot of focus on linked list stuff. Okay, yeah, no, I think we may as well just start with the first one. See how far we get. Okay. Yeah. So whenever you've got that loaded up.
Go OneDrive.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, cool. Okay. So let's see here. Did they have they talked to you about any particular thing you're supposed to read the files in with, or do they not really?
Oh, I have no idea because I haven't. This is a second semester course,
Mhm.
but I only have the exam and I'm taking the exam this semester, so it's a little
Okay.
bit different.
Okay.
So no,
Um, so you're okay. So there's no particular restrictions on what functions you can use or whatever.
no.
Okay. All right. So we can get going, I guess. All right. So I guess the first thing to do is just to open the file. I think probably, um, I think probably we'll want to, if they haven't like specified, I know there's the thing about being whether we can use scanf or not. I think that was the thing that we had earlier. But if there's not an issue with that, um,
Yeah, there was just for the first because it's a very first C programming class.
right?
That was the only restriction.
Okay. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think if there's no such restriction here, probably fscanf is probably what we want to
Okay.
do. um, okay, so yeah, we'll probably need both of those. Okay, so yeah, I guess the first thing to do is then to start off with called f open. Well, I guess actually the first thing to do, I guess, is we got to get our main argument set up. So actually, I guess we can't have a main that takes no arguments because it looks like they are um, going to pass in the file as arguments.
Into the
So
main.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because it says the input file shall be given as the first argument. Um, I think that's what they're saying. Let's see. Input file should be given as the first argument. The second
Oh, with
argument shall
those
contain the.
pointer. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about with those different pointers and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So if you're designing your main to take in input, you'll want to specify the two input arguments to main being an int, which we usually call argc, argc, and a char pointer, which is usually called argv, argv. Yeah. Okay. And um, okay. And probably the first, they do say like error handling is mandatory. So that includes argument correctness, memory allocation, file operations. Okay. So, so I guess unlike a lot of what we've done before, we actually have to, you know, worry about basic error checking. So, I guess the first thing to check and see is that is that the number of input arguments is two, or actually, I guess in this case it would be three, because the first input argument is always the name of your program. So we want to say if argc is not equal to two or three, and we probably want to use the for convenience the p error function. Yeah. So well, it's actually that I guess p error is more for a system. Um, hmm, that's more for a system error. So maybe actually we just want to do a standard printf for that one. That's more of a usage message. Um, so okay, yeah. So I think you want to. I guess we could like printf um, and say you could just print out a message that says something like exactly two input arguments needed or something like that. Okay.
I
probably
don't
want
need a
that.
backslash in, do I?
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah,
Cool.
and yep, and then after that, I would just after the printf, still inside the if, I would do a return. I would say that's like not an actual error. That's like a just a usage problem. So you could return 0 there. Okay. Um, okay, so that's the main thing to, well, if we have any other errors, they'll come in as we go. So let's see. All right, so the first argument is the input file. So yeah, I guess we can go ahead and main. Now, let's see. Is this going to make sense to do any of this outside of main? I'm just trying to think if we need a helper function. I don't think we really need to it because this is just kind of basically one big loop. So it doesn't really matter if it's inside main or not. Okay. So I think the next thing to do is to do an f open. So that'll be, let's see. Okay, so we'll need to make a file pointer, which is all capital letters file, F-I-L-E. Yep, and star, and you can call it whatever you want. I usually call mine F or FID or something like that. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. And so that'll be F open, and we can give it what you can give it as the file name is argv bracket 1 because that's the input that's the input file. Yeah, is the second, but first meaningful input argument, and then we need to give it a mode, which let's see, is going to be we'll open it for reading. So just give it the string R in quotes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then let's see if it returns. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. And then we should, for error checking, we should check and see if, oh, yeah, you can do that.
And this is the P error comes in.
Yeah. So we can check and see if F equals null because it'll be null if there's an error. Null should probably be capitalized in C. Yep, there you go. Yep, and we can use the p error function, which is like if there's a system error. So p error, and then yeah, in there you can just put an error message like error opening file or something like that. Yeah. Yep. Probably want to throw a backslash in on that one also, but other than that, that looks good. And then yeah, you may want to let's see, probably yeah. So then you can return an error code, or so you can return any non-zero number, whatever you want to signify to beat this error. Give me 1 second here.
Sure.
Okay, sorry, just raspy after a long day. Yeah, so you can return -1 or 1 or something like that. It doesn't really matter, whatever error code. You just get to
I
make up
don't
an error
remember. Are
code.
you the one that I used the exits with?
We might have done exits. Yeah, you could also do exits. Like exit, I mean, you would. Yeah, it's actually. I mean, if you're in the main function, exit and return do the same thing. So it's
Mm-hmm.
whichever you prefer. But yeah, if you want to do it that way, then that's fine. In that case, well, yeah, that's fine. Either one is really fine. Okay. Um, all right. So that's fine. And then, yeah, so that handles, I don't think there's any other error we need to worry about there. And I guess actually, before we get any further, we should probably go ahead and open the file for writing. Because if that may as well check for an error with that, like a permission error or whatever there. So yeah, so you may as well do another f open line. You can call the file pointer or whatever you want to, I guess. Call it
Just F.
F2, or yeah, or you can call them F. Well, you don't want to call it F read, I guess, but FR and FW or F and F2 or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Um,
Just
file start F again.
well, it's not going to be F because you have to have two. We have to have two variables, one for the file that we're reading and one for the file that we're writing. So we want it to be named something different, but yeah, that works. Yeah, and then that'll just be the same fopen, except we'll give it argv2. Yep, and you'll give it the code W for writing. Okay. Yep. And then you can do basically copy and paste your error check. Yeah. Okay. Yep. And you can go with the same error message or change it up if you want to.
Let's see.
Yep. Okay, that looks good. Line 14 at the end, you just have a rogue backslash, but
9, 14.
14, yeah. Okay, cool. All right, that looks good. Oh yeah, I want to move that up to match the other one. Yep. Okay. So all that looks good. If we get past that, then we're past the worst of the error checking, although I guess we'll still need to check our file reading. Okay, so then, sorry, let me just check something here. Okay, can ignore that. Let's see here. So now I think we're ready to do the file reading. Now, before we do that, before we get too far into this, maybe we want to let's see. Let me see exactly exactly what they want us to do with this linked list. The input file should be given us the first argument. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I guess I mean they don't really say some things like what we're going to do with that linked list when we're done, but okay. Yeah. Okay. So we probably, before we get too far down, maybe we need to go up above main after the includes, and let's define our linked list data structure. Um, so,
Here.
well, above the main function, like, we want to do this like before we get to main. Yeah. So, so we'll need to define a structure for a node of our linked list. Have you worked with linked lists before or not?
It's been a while.
Okay. Yeah. So, what you can do is, well, so you can start off with a type def and then a struct, typedef, yep, and then struct, strucd, yep, and then, right, and then you can name it something like, people often name it something like node or something like that because it's a node of the linked list, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you probably also, after line or after your closing brace before your semicolon, you can type node again, and yeah, and that will like let us just call it a node later on in the code. All right.
So what is this?
Well, this is our definition of our node structure, of our linked list node structure. Yep.
Cool.
Okay. And so let's see. So what that's going to need to be, I guess, is, let's see, is, well, Yeah, so this is actually an interesting. So they say, like, design the correct and optimal data structure. So we kind of have two ways to go with this. Um, because both. Yeah, I think probably what we want to do, just to be on the safe side, is probably have. hmm, Um, well, it's a matter of like what's the most efficient, but I don't think they want it to be like incredibly complex either. So I guess what we probably want in there is um, we probably want um, a an int indicating the field type. So you could call it, or yeah, whatever you want to call that, like field type or something like that. You wouldn't put an equals anything here because we're just declaring the general format of this structure. Yeah, and then
Oh, I see it now.
yeah, yeah, and then you'd have, I guess we'd have a char, yeah, a char. You call it text or something like that, and that's going to be an array. So you want to bracket 4 after that. Yep, and then you want after that you want an unsigned int. Um, and yeah, you could just call that. You probably need to call it something other than uint because that is technically a type. Um, yeah, you could just call it UI or something like that. I guess UI should be safe. Okay, yep, that looks good. And then the key thing we need to, yeah, that works too. And then the key thing we need to make it a linked list is we need um, a struct node pointer. And people usually just call this next um, to make it a linked list. Yeah. All right. So that should be a pretty straightforward way to define this. And then, yep. So then what we can do is, let's see, let me think about the best way to do this. Um, okay. Yeah. So let's make, back in our main, after we've got our files open, um, let's make a node pointer. You probably want to call that head or first or something like that. Basically, yeah,
Yeah.
first thing in the linked list, and you can set that equal to null at first, I guess. And I think we probably also want one, a node pointer. You probably want to call it last or something like that, representing the last node that we've allocated because that's the
I think we
most.
use end.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, that'll represent the final one. So yeah, you can set that equal to null as well. Okay, and then what we can do is, let's see. Let me now go to the scanf documentation, or fscanf to be precise.
First and last pointers.
Uh, yeah, the
Yeah.
pointers to the first and last elements or nodes in the linked list. Yeah. Let's see. I want to check a couple things here. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Just looking to see. Okay. So I guess what we want to do here is say we probably want to make an int to represent the, let's see, the number of items read. Um, yeah. And actually, we can, let's see, we can set that equal to, um, let's see, the first byte of the field. Um, okay, actually, so we'll need another, before we actually, you can just set that equal to, or actually, before we do that, yeah, let's make a char variable or an unsigned char variable. Um, yeah, and we'll set that. Well, we'll set that equal to, yeah, that's like the, will represent the first byte of each field. Yeah. And you don't have to set that equal to anything initially. Okay. And let me just see. Let me just see. Oh, I think, let me actually, let me double check the fscanf. Hmm. Okay, yeah, fscanf should just read one input value. Let me just double check all of this. Give me 1 second here. I don't do a whole lot of fscanf, so. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Hmm. I'm just looking up like a little bit of format specification. I think we can fscanf an unsigned char, but let me double check that. Okay, yeah, I think we need HU. Let me just see if that's right. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we can set that equal to fscanf, and we'll give that fr, and then our next parameter would be the string, and that would be a percent sign, and then HHU. Yeah, and then our next parameter is the address of so the ampersand, and then the first byte of each field variable. Yeah.
What's the HHU stand for?
So that's a special format code. Let's see. So the U stands for unsigned, and the HH is I don't know what it stands for, but it is the code for a char or character. So together HHU means unsigned char. Okay, so I think that should be correct. And then I think we want to say while number of bytes read or number of items read is greater than 0. Yeah, so that'll, because it'll return 0 or an error code if it's unsuccessful. Okay, so we can now basically say, okay, so I guess now we can have an if statement. So we can say um, if, what is it? First byte of each field is equal to, so then we'll do the hex value. So 0x, I guess we can do 55 first. Then we're going to be reading an unsigned integer. Oh yeah, 0x55, yeah. Yep. And so then I guess we need to read again. So we can kind of copy line 46. So we're going to need to do that. Except we'll change. Oh yeah, you can get rid of the int, I guess, because we don't need to redeclare a number of items read. Yeah. And we can set that equal to fscanf of, okay, so let's see. If it's a 55, then we're going to be reading an unsigned integer. So, so that will be percent, let me double check that. Percent u will be an unsigned int. Yep. Yep. Okay. And then let's see. Oh, and then instead of the address of first byte of each field, we need to give it. Oh, let's see. I don't think we've. Yeah, we should probably make back where we make first byte of each field. Yeah, why don't you make an unsigned int variable, which is a kind of temp value for an unsigned int, whatever you want to, whatever the, yeah. And you might want to call it like temp int or something, because at the same time, we should probably also make a temporary array of, we should also make a temporary array of chars, I guess. So you could make a char temp char, I guess. And that's going to be bracket 4 because we want four characters exactly. Yep. Okay. So then let's see. So yeah, then you can give it the address of temp int instead of, yeah. Okay. So that works. And then I guess we should once again check if, so this gets a little bit more annoying here. So, well, actually, here's what we can do, I guess. Is actually, yeah, if we can say if number of bytes read is less than or equal to 0, I think what you can just do is break, because then we can just go to the end of the for loop and we can handle all of the read failures at the end of the for loop. So that's probably the easiest thing to do. Okay.
Loop.
Or sorry, the while loop. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because basically we can just break every time we have a read or write failure, or at least a read failure. The write failures are a little bit different, I guess. That would be more of a system error. So, okay. So let's see. Yeah, because like the read thing would be like a format issue, but either an end of file or a wrong format or something. But yeah, write error would only occur to some kind of system error. Okay. So I think let's see. So after line 56, we can keep going. Oh, we should probably do, let's see. Back when we make our node pointers around line 40 and 41, we should probably make one more node pointer, and you can call it, new node or something like that, just indicating. That's what, whenever we make a new node, we're going to make it that. Okay. So then if we've gotten this far, we're going to make um, so we'll set new node equal to, um, and we can malloc, yeah, and give it size of node, yeah, capital N node, yeah. Okay, and that's good for that line. We might need to do some typecasting, but we'll let the compiler complain. Um, and let's see. So then we need to check and see if I think malloc will just return 0 if it fails, but let me just double check that. I mean, I know it will return null, but I want to see if it also does other things. Let's see. Yeah, if it fails, it's null. Okay, so yeah, you could say if new node equals null, we can check for an error here. So you can like do a p error here and indicate there was like some kind of memory allocation failure. And then you probably want an exit here, an error. Yep. Okay.
Or the error? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I mean that what you had. Oh no, sorry. You can just exit. No, you can just exit with an error code. Yeah. So 1 is fine, or really any non-zero number is
Oh,
fine.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good. And so then on the next line after 62, we can go ahead and keep doing, assume that our allocation was good. So I guess what we can do now is set our fields of new node. So we can say new node arrow. And let's see, what were those fields called? I guess, what do we call it? We called it u integer or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we should set field type first. So, yeah, we should do field type.
Maybe I should change text because it's blue.
I can't remember if that's anything special, but yeah, if you want to be safe, you can change it to something.
Text.
I mean, that's a special word in some languages. I can't think that it's anything special in C, but maybe I'm misremembering.
Huh. It's not changing.
Yeah, I think text is probably fine.
Okay.
The compiler will yell at us if we use a name we're not supposed to use. Okay, yeah, so field type. And that's going to be, I would just, I would just make it 1, I guess. You can call them like just 1 and 2 or something like that. Yeah. We can define those values something special later if we want to. Let's see. And then new node arrow u integer, I guess. So that's going to equal temp int. Yeah. And then new node arrow next, we can set to null. Okay. And then what we should probably, so what we should probably do is, let's see. Yeah, so then we need to do a check here. So we can check and see if the head of our linked list, whatever we called that, do we call that first or head or something? Head. Yeah. So if head is equal to null, actually, you know what? I take this back a little bit. Let's do this in a minute because this will be the same code. Why don't we cut this out and put it after, cut the if head equals null out And we put it after line 70 because that's going to be the same code regardless of which node type it is. So, yeah, we can just do that in a little bit when we finish processing the other kind of data. So, actually, that's, I mean, if we want to even, let's see. Yeah, you can even cut line 65 out and put that right above line 69 because that also is not going to differ according to node type.
Jeez.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I think that's everything we need to do inside that if statement that starts on line 53. So I think you can, if you want to delete those couple of lines, we're good there. The next thing we need to do is after line 65, we need to do an else if first byte of each field equals hex 98. Yeah, 0x98. Yeah. Okay, then we can kind of copy. I mean, you actually might want to just copy everything that's in the if block because it's not going to be identical, but it's going to like be parallel. So we may as well copy and paste it and then change what we need to change. Okay, cool. So let's see, what are we going to change here? So line 66, we'll change that from reading an unsigned int to, let's see. Hmm. Let me think about this for a second. We need to read, this one's a little bit tricky because we need to read 4 unsigned characters. Let me actually check. Oh, actually, no, that's not going to be that bad. Right. I just forgot what I was doing here. Yeah. So that actually is not too bad because we can. Oh, yeah. Do you need to plug in or something? I saw you got a battery warning.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
It's 41 minutes left.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the code for what we're fscanfing, I guess, will be %C, 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 %C. So basically 4% C characters.
And that's for what?
So that's to read 4 characters like that's to read the 4 bytes of text like they kind of say in the specification.
Oh,
I think actually let me
and
double
then
check.
hem
Actually, wait a minute.
is
Oh yeah. Mm.
hem X.
Oh, actually, you know what? You can. You know what? We can. You know what? We can do this more succinctly. Sorry, I forgot that you could do this. Um, let me just see something here. Just give me a second. Hmm. I think we can just do. I'm just trying to parse the official documentation, which is a little bit dense. Okay, let me just see here. Oh, okay. I see. Okay, that's what I was looking for. All right. Yeah, actually, so what we can do is actually just specify instead of percent %C, percent %C, percent %C, percent %C, you can just do percent %4C, like the number four, and then a single C. And that's actually going to be better than what we're doing. And then actually instead of the address of temp char, you actually just give it temp char because temp char is itself um, a pointer. So you can just give it temp char. Yeah. Okay. And then I think the only thing we need to change in 68 is um, if number of items read is less than or equal to, uh, well, actually, let me see here. I think, yeah, I think we want less than or equal to 3. Um, yeah, because, well, we'll check that. We'll be able to check that pretty easily if that's not correct, but I think that's right because I think it'll return 4 if it reads all 4 characters, and otherwise it'll return 3 or less. Okay, so then the new node line 71 is the same. The check of new node is the same. Field type is 2. That makes sense. So new node text equals temp. Well, okay. So that's going to be a little bit different because we don't just want text equal temp char because we need to
Right.
make the values match. Um, so there's 2 ways you can do this. Um, you can either do it like with 4 lines of code or with one little for loop, which is, I mean, it's going to be about the same amount of code each way. I don't know if you'd rather
Four
have a
lines of
little.
code.
Okay.
I think I know
So
what you're talking about.
yeah, so
And
you could just do like text bracket 0 equals temp char bracket 0, and then do the same thing with 1, 2, 3. That's probably how I do it too, because like it honestly is not that much longer. It's like maybe 1 line of code longer, and why bother invoking a for loop when you can just do it straight up like this?
jeez.
I mean, yeah, there are more succinct ways to do it, but I feel like they're unnecessarily complicated.
Like this?
Yep, that looks good. Okay. And then I guess before we can get to setting up the rest of our linked list, what we probably need to do after 81 is have an else, because if the byte is anything other than 55 or 98, you probably have to report an error. So you can, I guess here you can, yeah, make it, well, yeah, so P error, there's not actually going to be a system error. So here, I think, let's see, I think what I would do here, let's see, let me just, I think the sort of accepted way to print standard error if you're not using P error is, yeah, we can do an fprintf to the special standard error file. So you can do fprintf, yeah, and then give it stderr, which is the special variable for standard error, and then your error message, which is presumably something like bad file format or something like that. Yep, and then yep, and then you can exit with an error code. Okay. Yep, and then okay, yeah. Uh, then I think finally around line 85, we're ready to do the rest of our node setup. Okay, so the head is null in line 87. I think we're ready for that stuff here. So the head is null, then head can equal new node. So we can say head equals new node. Yeah, and
You know
then
it
we can,
equals temp.
and then what? Sorry.
It's just a guess, but you know it equals temp.
Well, I think we want. Wait a minute. I think we want. Oh wait. Wait. Sorry. Scroll up to where we make our nodes. Let me just make sure. Um, keep going up a little bit. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so then we want end equal to new node also is what we want here. Yeah, because basically like end is just for convenience. As you know, it's not a. This is when it's the first thing in the list, but other that's actually all we have to do here, I think. And then
Then I was confusing with something else. Yeah.
okay, yeah, and then we can have an else here where okay, so let's see. Then what we can say is end arrow next equals no hang on, we need to set that equal to new node. Yeah, and then we can say end equals new node. Actually, I guess you know what you could actually just uh, not do this on this line and cut it out of line 88, and we can yeah, because I guess actually yeah, I guess either way the new node's going to become the end. So you could just put that after the well, you can put it after line 91. I mean, after both the if and the
Um,
else. Yeah, because it's going to be true in either case that that's what we want to do. Okay, cool. All right. So now I guess we have to, yeah, I guess we have to do the file writing if we've gotten our new node successfully written. That's our next thing to do.
did you want to do it today, or do you
Programming.
want to?
We can do a little bit more. Yeah, we're probably not going to get totally done, but we'll get very close. Yeah, why don't we? I mean, if you've got 5 or so more minutes,
Yeah, let
I
me
can
just plug
spend.
this in.
Sure, yeah.
No, that's not.
Actually, it might be. We might get this one maybe not 100% wrapped up, but like enough to debug. Basically, we just wouldn't maybe have time to do our cleanup or error checking, but we could get the basic functionality in. Oh, let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Somewhere, do we lose? No, no, we're okay. I just wanted to make sure we're actually. Wait, can you scroll up a bit? I just want to check and make sure. Yeah, a little bit more. I just want to make sure we're still inside our. Okay, yeah, we are still inside our while loop. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. So then,
So this was the reading, right?
yep, this is all the, well, yeah. Yep. And then if we get that far, we can now do some writing. Should actually be like significantly, well, actually, let me think about this. You know what? Well, it sort of depends on how efficient you want to be. I think we probably don't need to be like crazy efficient. I think it's probably more important to be like efficient with concepts than like straight lines of code. Um, so I think we can say, let's see. So yeah, actually, this is probably the way to do it, regardless. So I think we can say like if new node arrow field type equals 1. And yeah, if that's equal to 1. Yep. So let's see. Then we're ready to print to our output file. And let me just see. We want an fprintf. Let me just check the error codes for fprintf. Because I guess we should. That's one of those things that I rarely actually bother to check errors on, but I guess we should if they're being strict about that. Okay, let's see here. So that should return. Okay, yeah, return a negative number. So I can't remember. Let's see. I guess we don't have an I guess we don't have an int variable for. Oh, well, we'll worry about the error in a second. Okay, so we can do an fprintf if we're good. Oh, actually, yeah, we should be able to do this in one line. So I guess we'll print fprintf. So it'll be our output file. Whatever we call that, I think it was fw. Be the first thing. Yeah, and then the string will be text colon. Or sorry, wait, no. Type one is type two is uint. I'm sorry. So uint colon, and then I guess we want a percent ud. Yeah, and then a backslash n. Yeah, yep. And then after that string, you can do a comma and give it new node arrow u integer. Yep. Okay, and then at the beginning of line 96, let's make an int. An int like that's going to represent. Let's see, what does it return? It returns technically characters written. I mean, you can just call it whatever you want. It's basically just to check yeah to check for an error. So basically, right. So then we can say if char written is less than or equal to 0. Actually, this is another one where actually, why don't we just why don't we declare int char written like before the while loop? Because actually, then we can save some code if we keep it in scope the whole program. Yeah. So yeah, just around here is fine. Yeah. Okay, that's good. And then yeah. So then we can check for errors after we kind of do the different thing for each field type. So you can just cut out line 98 right now, and we'll just remember in a second to check for errors. Okay. So yeah, so then you can. So that's all we need, I think, in the if state or the consequence of the if, and then we can do an else, and we can say char written equals fprintf. Um, and yeah, and we can give that fw still. And actually, let's see here. Um, can we tell it to, I think we can give it a format specifier of a specific number of characters. So yes, we should be able to do that. Hmm. Okay, yeah. So I think you can give it the string to print. You can just give. Oh, sorry. I just realized uint you have unit. So just make it
Oh,
uint,
whoops.
not unit. Yeah. Um, yep. Okay. And then for our other format string, it'll be text colon. And I think we can do percent for C. Yep, and a backslash n, and then you can give it new node arrow text. Yep, that should be okay. All right, and then after line 100, we can check and see if char written is. Yeah, we can check and see if char written is less than or equal to 0. Yep. So that'll be a case for an fprintf to standard error. So you could copy lines 84 and 85 if you want to be a little lazy. Yeah, and I guess you could just say yeah, error writing to file or something like that. And I think usually that would actually, let's see, would that have an error code? I don't know if fprintf sets p error. Let me check actually, or sets error. So we just check that because we might be able to use, actually, we might be able to use p error, but let me just see. Uh, it's hard to look for that. Okay, I think it's fine. Yeah, I don't think we need to worry about that. Okay. All right, so I think that has the basic functionality in. The only thing I would do is probably like make a note after line 10. Oh, actually, sorry, there's one more thing to do, um, which is if we go up to the very top of the while loop, go down a little bit here. Yeah, scroll down a little bit more, just to the top of the while loop. Up a little bit. So let's copy line 52 because we're going to want to read another item in at the end of the while loop before we are done. So yeah, scroll, then kind of put a copy of that in at the very bottom of the while loop. Yeah, so right where you've got your comment there. Yep, and just get rid of the int at the beginning. Yeah.
What?
Just get rid of the int at the beginning because you don't need to redeclare a number of items read. It's already been declared. Yep. Okay. And the only other thing, so I think, yeah, probably we won't have time because I do have another person in a few minutes. So we won't have time to do all the like extensive error checking. So I would put a note after like 106 that we have to like, or yeah, like after the while loop, we need to um, check for errors and like close our files and optionally like clean up our memory. Um, yeah, so we just got to remember to do that. But I think this should compile and run in principle, even without that. That's just extra error checking so we can see kind of how close we got. If it's real close, or I mean, if it's no bugs, we can just, we're lucky. But if it's simple stuff, we can debug. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that did, well, that's one error check complete. Yeah, so you'll need to run it from the command line with command line arguments. Do you have the file that you're supposed to read in that same folder with your program, or the what's it called?
It's
Frames two dot.
MPT.
The,
Yeah,
what's that?
it's in. I think it's in this file. Let me just. Yeah, it's in
Uh,
this.
no, the frames two dot dat.
Oh, frames two now.
Yeah, you'll need to grab that and put it in. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just put it in there. Yep. And then, okay, so then what you'll want to do is you want to kind of do period slash, and then the name of your program, which is that whole programming techniques problem one thing. So you can probably hit tab and it will probably autocomplete. Well, yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah. Well, change it to .exe. Yeah. Okay, and then wait. Okay, wait. Hit up to get that back, and then we're going to need to give two input arguments. The first of which is the frames2.dat file. So just frames2.dat, and then you can another file which output.txt or something like that, some kind of text file for the output. Yeah. Yep. Okay, now let's try that and see if that goes. Okay, well, it ran, didn't give an error message. Do we open output.txt and see if it exists? Okay. Interesting. No. You know what? We might need to do. That's interesting. It was created, but not. We might need to do an F close explicitly. Maybe if it's not F closed. Um, so so maybe let's add like right after 107. At the very least, let's put F close parentheses FW. Yeah, and let's see if that runs now. Oh, you've got to probably recompile it. So hit the run button again, I guess, to recompile it, and it'll generate the error. But then we can just, yeah, then you can just hit up a couple times and run it again. Or yeah, there you go. Let's see if that does it this time. Still no output. That's weird. Interesting. Not sure why it's not generating output. Hmm. Okay. Well, this might take a little bit of debugging. I mean, I can spend like 2 more minutes on it if you want. I don't know if you want to send it to me, and I can try to compile it on my end
Yeah.
because I can run it through a debugger pretty easily. But yeah, we'll see how that goes.
While we,
Yeah, sure. Go
it's
ahead.
not, uh, the messaging. While we do this, is there any way I can save like the recordings?
Oh, the recordings of our session. Yeah, if you go into like the recording session section, like when you click on it, if you just click on the video when it's playing and
Mm-hmm.
like right click it and or like right click the video as it's playing, yeah. Yeah, so like start playing it and then just right click and you do save video as, yeah.
Okay,
That should download the whole thing.
perfect.
Yeah, I do that occasionally when I need to review things as well. All right. Let me download the C file real quick here and just okay. Let's see if it has the same issue for me. If it oh here I'll share my screen either way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, share screen, allow. Okay, so oops, go away. There we go. Let me just quickly set this up for. Oh, sorry. Yeah, let me make this a little bit easier to see because I hear that it's transparent like this. It's a little hard to see. Okay, and make it slightly bigger. Okay, so oops. Okay, so let me try this myself. Where did? Oh yeah, so GCC programming. Okay, yeah, that's. Oh wait a minute. Input the argument has. Hmm. Okay, wait a minute. That's interesting. Format specifies type int. Okay, we'll have to check that out later. But let me just see if that runs. Frames 2.dat output.text. Okay, that generates output.text. Yeah, 0 bytes. Interesting. So let's maybe
What
very
is it
quickly.
saying there?
Oh, yeah, I might have to check and see if it's saying it's claiming that the format specifies type int. So I need to check and see if that's uh, if I've if we've got that format right. But that shouldn't prevent it from like writing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit odd. So why don't we just very quickly? Actually, let me make a copy of that before I write all over it. Um, it's just like let's just do a little like a little old fashioned debugging here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird because it's like not.
Writing, yeah.
Yeah, it's not doing anything. So Okay, yeah, so it's not. It's okay. So it's not actually. It's just. Yeah, so I think we're just. Oh, you know what I should do? Sorry, I actually need to recompile it. Oops. So that might have been okay in theory. No, yeah, so we're not getting into the while loop at all. Um, let's see. Let me just check that we're getting at least this far. Um, oh, you know what? I just realized what it is we probably don't want to be doing F. You know, we probably don't want to be doing fscanf with this because I think that's just for text formatted. Sorry, I was thinking, yeah. Let me. It's been a while since I've used the fscanf. Let me just see. That's going to be it. So we're probably going to want to replace our fscanfs with something. Um, that's totally it. Yeah, so that's what I realized is we're probably not going to be able to do this with fscanf. I was thinking of
This
other.
scanf. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can fix that later. I can actually yeah, that's for reading characters and reading character strings. That's right. It's been a while since I've had to use. All right, I'll have to think about this a little bit, but it should be like a
Okay.
drop-in replacement for the fscanfs. I think there is an equivalent where you can read you know a number of bytes as a certain data type, but I'll have to look into that a little bit. Um, so I
Okay.
will do that and keep you posted. Did
Cool.
we? So you said this is due Thursday. Um, did you want to try to set up any other times this week?
Um, when would you be available?
Let's see. It's pretty. It's even though it's Thanksgiving week, it's surprisingly busy.
Oh, that's
Um,
right.
I think. Yeah, I think my next availability would be around this time, around 9 p.m. Pacific on Tuesday. I don't know if that works for you.
And then people's on Tuesday. Um, okay.
If I mean if that doesn't work, the next one would be Wednesday evening, probably a little bit earlier than that. I don't know if that's better, but it does look like this is kind of long stuff. So you know, um, yeah. I mean, if it's due Thursday, yeah. Unfortunately, I only have that little bit of time on Tuesday, and then I'll have sometime Wednesday evening. So you might need to get
Mm-hmm.
working on some on your own time, just you know, due to availability, because yeah, I'm pretty loaded up. But yeah, I can do Tuesday evening, or I can do Wednesday around. Let's see. Yeah, Wednesday around 7 p.m. Pacific or later.
7 p.m. Pacific Wednesday. So let's do Wednesday.
Okay. Do you want to potentially plan on a longer time just in case
Yes.
it? Okay, so 2 hours maybe or something. Well, actually, yeah. If we
Maybe. Yeah.
really realistically, I can go as long as we need to because I'm not going to book anybody after that. Okay, yeah. So we'll plan on that for Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific, and go as long as we can stand to, I guess. And
Yeah.
I'll try to take a look at this. I think this part I can at least replace the scanfs and let you know.
Cool.
But yeah. As for everything else, we'll just get as far as we can, I guess.
Yeah.
All right,
Sounds good.
cool.
Thank you so much.
Anything else? Yep.
That's
Thank you. Okay,
have a good
cool.
night.
All right. Yep. You too. See you on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye. Thanks.